Welcome back to another episode of the Girl Power Alliance podcast. I'm really excited about my guest today. Her story is very unique and it's very rich, and you're going to have so many nuggets of truth today in this podcast. Let me introduce to you the beautiful Cheyenne Helm. She's from a small town in Kentucky. She's 25 years old. She's a single mother to her beautiful daughter named Brighton. She is a miracle baby, and you're going to hear why today on the podcast. She is a firm believer and holds to her faith and God's true words for her life and her daughters. She's a business owner. She is currently in the network marketing profession, a company called Monat. I'm sure you've heard of it. And this is her very first ever podcast. And so I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're going to shine like a star today, Cheyenne, and that God's glory is going to shine as well. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you on here. When we spoke the last time, I was just so moved by your story. Talk about an overcomer. You're an incredibly strong woman who has overcome so many things. So, why don't you just start at the beginning and share more about your story than I just did in your bio?
Okay. All right. So, you guys, I'm Cheyenne. Very nice to meet every single one of you guys. So I'm super nervous, but it's okay. So, a little bit about my story. I found out I was pregnant the day after my daughter's dad died. His name is Austin. I am a victim of gun violence. He was actually shot and killed multiple times in front of me. I found out I was pregnant the very next day, and talk about a roller coaster of emotions. I was dealing with grief. And on top of that, I was dealing with, the doctors telling me that my daughter had a 1% chance of life due to her having Turner syndrome. So if you guys don't know what Turner syndrome is, it only happens in little girls. It's where either half or all of their X chromosome is missing. They can have heart defects, learning disabilities, different things like that. And during that time, I was going to the doctor every single week from the point I found out I was pregnant to almost multiple times a week due to them thinking she was going to be stillborn. And some ladies reached out to me back in my hometown. It's called a Haven Care Center, where they help, women during pregnancy crisis and everything like that. And they were the ones that helped me uphold my faith and look to, greater for me in Brighton. They prayed with me every single time I went. And a verse that really stuck with me during this time, with the uncertain circumstances was, with God, all things are possible. And I would pray that over everything. I prayed that over my life, not knowing whether, I'd make it out of my pregnancy, okay? And I pray that over Brighton's life, and it's so true. With him, all things are possible when you put your faith in him. And so Brighton is an absolute miracle. She's my best friend. And without her, I probably would not be the woman that I am today. The growth that I see in myself from, that event happening in 2018 that happened on Father's Day. Austin's dad killed him on Father's Day of 2018. And it changed a lot for me. During that time. Sorry, I'm getting a message. During that time, Austin was laying there and he was telling me, he looked me in the eye and he told me, he was like, "Shy, I am dying." He was like, "I love you. And I want you to know that God is real." And I'm so sorry. And from that moment on, I knew in my heart and in my soul that he had seen God, and that's where he was going to. He was going to heaven. And from that moment on, God has done absolute miracles in my life. He's shown me the way to go. And our story is going to impact so many people's lives. And I know without a doubt that that's why I'm here. My purpose is going to be fulfilled through this story, because I don't know what any of you are out there going through, but for me, as a young person to go through something like that and still, have my ability to go on and push forward and pray forward throughout unknown circumstances. You can too. It's just a matter of believing and having faith and knowing that God really does not give you more than you can handle. And I thought to him, I was like, God, what is happening? Why is this happening to me? And looking back then, I write in my journal a lot because I plan on writing a book. I write in my journal a lot, and I was looking at my journal a couple of days ago before this podcast. From the very beginning, I wrote, and then till now, my life has been a complete turnaround with my faith, with my ability to know that I can do whatever it is that I want to do and say yes, to just keep going, and I had no choice but to keep going. I had my daughter depending on me. The doctors wanted me to get an abortion because they were saying she's going to have all these different disabilities and all this, whatever. And I told them, my mom was there with me most of the time. So I'm going to put this in there. Most of the time during my appointments, I was by myself. I was alone. I went through this pregnancy alone. I was surrounded by people. I was surrounded by love, but I did not have the one that I wanted there with me. But I'm very, very grateful for everyone who was with me and supported us and still are supporting me and my daughter. But I told that doctor, I looked at him, I said, how can you sit there and say that about a little girl in my belly that just waved at me, that just waved her hand, and we just listened to her heartbeat? How can you tell me to get an abortion? How can you tell me to kill her? That's what you're telling me to do. And I told him, I said, she does not have a voice right now, but I'm going to be her voice, and she's staying here. She's staying here until she's not supposed to be here anymore, And I told the doctors, I said, I understand. I understand that you are a doctor, but my God is a doctor above all, and he works miracles. And that is exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And he's still doing that. And Brighton has her annual checkups and everything. And for them to say that then, that, she was going to have all these different disabilities and stuff, now they're saying she's above average in everything.
Wow.
In all categories. And that has nothing but God written on it. They were telling me, she wouldn't be able to walk. Brighton is running, playing around, being her little bright self. Me and Austin actually decided on her name a month before this tragedy happened. And I did not know that I was going to be pregnant. It's crazy how God works. And he was like, why do you want to name our child that? I was like, because he or she will brighten our day. And Brighton is the light of my life. She's the light of my life. And I love her so very much. And I'm doing what I'm doing to continue, growing, to continue to let her know that she's able to do all things through Christ that strengthens her, that strengthens me. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about who I am.
I mean, it's a lot. It's an incredibly heavy story for somebody so young to have. I mean, if you take each piece individually, of the things that we just spoke about, let's just start at the beginning. To watch your fiance be murdered right in front of you, that alone is a tragedy that, first of all, most people will never ever have to try to empathize because they will never have dealt with it. That alone is an incredibly impactful and devastating thing for you to go through, to grow through. And, for some people, they go through things like just that, not even the other things that you've mentioned. And that, it changes them and they fall apart. And so you had that to deal with. And then, a week later, you find out that the love of your life, you have a piece of him growing inside of you. That must have been such a bittersweet,
absolutely
thing for you to feel. So grateful and so sad at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so.
I feel like, for him to have said to you, God is real, and then for you to have this beautiful baby growing inside of you, that she is a gift from God.
Absolute gift from heaven. She's literally an angel on earth.
Does she look like him?
She is his twin. She looks nothing like me. I'm
Wow.
just like, and you know what? The crazy thing about it is they have the same birthday. I was not even due then. She was
Wow.
born on his birthday. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter, whose her birthday is actually tomorrow. She turns 18 tomorrow. She was born on my sister's birthday. My older sister died of cancer, so they share that birthday as well. And I think I always feel like, I don't believe anything is an accident. Do you know what I mean? Of
No.
course, we have free will and everything, but I believe that God is sovereign and He's marked our
Mhm.
days. He knows what we're going to say before we say it. And so
Yeah.
I believe that, in addition to, you'll always be able to share with Brighton stories and things about her father because they share that special day together. What an incredible gift. And so, and then on top of those things, then you find out that your daughter, which is probably, I think more than any other tragedy in the entire world, is as a parent, the fear and worry about your child. I think it supersedes anything that you'll ever go through is stuff that has to do with your
Mhm.
children.
Mhm.
And so in addition to, losing your fiance right in front of you, finding out you're pregnant, knowing that you're going to have to deal with this pregnancy alone and grieving and growing a human at the same time, then you find out, that the doctors are telling you that she has defects to the degree that they're telling you to terminate the pregnancy. The things that you have walked through in such a compressed period of time, I think it, and you even said it when you look back over your journals, the person that you were compared to the person that you are now, God grew you in supernatural, super speed ways. And I agree with you. There is a purpose, a big purpose. Your message is such a message of hope.
Thank you.
So if you had to take one thing, like one thing that you feel that the Lord has taught you through from that moment to today with your daughter, if there's one message that you wanted to make sure that the world heard that you feel like God has taught you, what would that be?
To not lean on my own understanding
Mm,
because his will is higher than ours. His ways are higher than our ways. And yeah, do not lean on your own understanding because our understanding isn't the same as his.
absolutely. I think that as a human being is one of the hardest things to truly wrap our minds around. And unless you've been through a tragedy that makes no sense, you, those are just words. Don't lean on your own understanding. But unless you've actually walked through tragedy, which you have, um, those words take on a completely different meaning. Because from the outside, people love you and they want to help you and support you, and they say all the things, right? Well, don't worry, everything happens for a reason, or all the things that people try to say to comfort somebody when they're grieving. The Really, unless you've walked through tragedy, you don't know, and you're the only one. So that the meaning of that verse that says lean not on our own understanding, it has that is a powerful message of surrender, of trust, and of faith in God. And I would
That's
venture to
so true.
guess now, Cheyenne, you have unshakable faith.
Thank you. Sometimes I feel like, I don't. Like, sometimes I'm like, what do I do next? And that's when I pray. And it's crazy because, I even write down my prayers. And I wrote down a prayer from, the date was January 22nd, 2020, and I was reading that today and I just got cold chills. I was just like, oh, wow, because I pour into a lot of gratitude. I thank God for the littlest things because showing gratitude to the littlest things will, eventually, show you to be thankful for the big things as well. And Brighton is a really, really big thing, a big person in my life. So,
Of course. And by the way, you have, I mean, she's still tiny baby. You have many, many years of
yeah.
amazing accomplishments and joy that she is going to bring into your life. And I can just tell you myself as a mother, God has shown me more about who He is through parenting my children than any other lesson He's ever taught me. And
Mhm.
so you are just you're an incredibly strong young woman, and you talked about when you were sharing your story that you had women that came alongside of you You want to talk a little bit about, the support system that you've had?
Yeah, I can do that. So the ladies that, you know, during the pregnancy crisis, we would basically they really wrapped their arms around me and loved on me and just poured God onto me really to get through this, and there were days I was even doubting myself and my ability to keep pushing and pushing forward, and they surrounded me with like I said, with so much love. They was there for me. They, just the littlest things, even praying for me, sending me prayer requests, sending me little journals with different prayers in it for every day, taking me out to lunch, just the little things to get my mind off of what I was going through, because you guys, they seen the outside, but no one knew mentally what I was going through in my head from seeing that, and I'm not going to lie, that is trauma, and I am traumatized from that, but I'm getting through it every single day, I tend to have PTSD whenever it comes to loud noises and
Mhm.
sounds and, sirens and everything like that. But I'm getting through it slowly but surely. And I've really come a long way, and I'm super, super grateful that, God placed people in my pathway, for that specific reason to get me over that mountaintop. So super grateful for that.
The interesting thing about um, trauma and tragedy is when you're in it, when you're walking in the middle of it, and not to say that you're out of it by any stretch of the imagination. It takes you're right. It takes many, many years, and some people actually, I mean, it takes work, a lot of work to recover from a trauma
Mhm.
like that. But the interesting thing about going through trauma and leaning on faith, you know, holding on
Mhm.
to it for dear life, holding on to that faith
Yes.
is you can only exist in the moment. It really teaches you uh, the ability to not even really look ahead, because you don't have the ability in the midst of that experience when you're grieving and going through so much, but literally you rely on the support of these women, your faith, like from moment to moment. And
Yes.
and as you look back on that, do you feel like that's kind of like what a miracle each day was with what he supplied you each day to get through that day?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the women that, during that time, it was back in October, they were telling me to go to school, because I had been in school before and, I ended up dropping out or whatever. So they told me to go to school to do better, to find something,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I will do that, because I had always wanted to help people. And then whenever we get to the questions, you guys will know why, going to school didn't really work out for me. But I'm not going to lie, I did graduate school. I went to medical assisting back in my hometown. I did medical assisting. I graduated in May of 2019. So I have my certification, nursing, and all that.
Awesome.
And it's crazy because, I was in school. I had Brighton, and Brighton was in the NICU for a month. And a week later, after I had her, my teachers had called me and, they were like, you have to make a decision. Are you coming back or are you going to stay at the NICU? And it took me a day. It took me a day. I was talking to the doctors. I was like, I'm not really for sure what I'm going to do. And I made a decision. I was like, my life is up to me to continue to change for not only my future, but for Brighton's future. So I went back. I finished school, a week later. I was going back and forth from the NICU to school every other day, doing my
Mm.
homework beside my daughter's bed every single day because I had no excuse. I had to do something. I had to be better. I had to do better, and by the grace of God, I did finish school. And I'm super, super happy and grateful that I did do that. I have that under my belt. But what I'm doing now is completely outstanding, amazing. And I know that through this, I'm going to impact so many different people.
And what she's referring to is the fact that she's chosen a path in the network marketing profession, which is a near and dear to my heart. I believe that network marketing gives you the opportunity to, especially for you as you're a single mom, to
Mhm.
be able to be full time, fully present with Brighton every day, and at the same time build an income and a future for the two of you. And to be able to do it, from the just utilizing technology from your cell phone or device or a computer, it's a huge blessing.
Yes, absolutely. And what made me decide to do this, I had written down, one of the questions you had asked was how did, your faith based on this business? And it has always been a desire for me to be my own boss and to inspire people somehow, to work for myself because I knew I was going to need to have something like this because of Brighton's health issues. She does have a lot of health issues. I'm not going to lie, she does, and that is to be expected. But for me to work in the corporate America right now is not the time. It's not for me personally, just because I'm always having to miss work anyways, to take her back and forth to the doctors. And so for me to be present in my business and to be present at home right now is absolutely amazing. And I know that God says in the Bible, He will give you the desires of your heart. And this is solely what I desire right now, to better myself, to better the future for me and Brighton, and to better the future of many other people as well through this business. So I'm super, super happy and grateful for that, to know that my purpose will be fulfilled. It may take 6 months, a year, 2 years, but I know that I'm going to impact thousands and thousands of people's lives just through this story and through this business, because I know God has great things in store for me to prosper in the near future.
I have absolutely no doubt, Cheyenne. You're an exemplary woman. You have the strength of David. You're a strong, powerful woman. You're just getting started. I don't even think you realize how strong and powerful you are. And I believe that you'll be wildly successful in this profession that you've chosen. She is with a company called Monat. It's hair care and now skincare. And actually, you guys even just launched some health and nutrition products. So I want to make
Yes,
sure that anybody that's listening, they feel connected. They want to support you and help you and or work with you in your network marketing
absolutely.
business. How can they get connected to you?
So, a couple different ways. I'm on Facebook. My Facebook name is Cheyenne Janae, which Janae is my middle name, spelled, Cheyenne, Janae, Grnae. And then my Instagram is Shy, Chyys, blossoming. Just blossoming. That's what I'm doing. I'm blossoming.
Yes, you are.
So that's a couple different ways you can connect with me, and we can get you set up. Love, love, love. My website page is actually on my Instagram as well, so you can go on there and get a little bit more of a background from what I do, what we have to offer, and everything like that. So yeah.
And don't worry if you didn't write that down, because all of the information will be available in the show notes of the podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just right below the video, you'll have all the details so that you can connect directly with Cheyenne. I'm just wildly impressed by you, your spirit, your heart, your love for the Lord. I know that God is going to continue to bless you in remarkable ways. Myself, and I know everybody that's listening to this, we are praying for you and for Brighton, a hedge of protection around your health, your finances, your healing. And I'm going to get your address after this, because I want to send you the book. The Residual Life is the book that I wrote about network marketing, my success in network
Wow.
marketing. So I'm going to send you
Wow.
that. And I just appreciate you. I want to thank you for your time today, and keep us updated on both Brighton and your success in your business.
Absolutely. I will definitely do that. And I also just want to put out there, me saying yes to this industry just gives me the opportunity to do the uncommon thing. This is not common,
Nope.
for people to be in this. So even if you reach out, it does not have to be about the business or the products. If you just want to reach out to get to know me a little bit more, that is perfectly fine. I'm always willing to connect with new people and grow, because you guys may have something to offer me that I don't have. So absolutely open to whatever.
Well, I think that your story, your strength is going to impact thousands. And God's going to use that to not only bless you, but to bless a lot of other people. So I thank you again for your time, for your bravery, and your courage to share your story. Thank you so much, Cheyenne.
Thank you. Bye-bye.